Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for April 4th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Lita. How you doing, Lita?
I'm okay. I am at that point in Passover where I'm in sort of matzah-induced fatigue. Um, so hopefully I will be perked up, just like you were the last time we did an update.
Oh, yes, I'm always perked. Always perked. We are here to talk about everything that happened on the Big Brother Canada 6 live feeds yesterday, and had some interesting stuff go down here yesterday. Lots of stuff to get into here, so let's get right on it. We start the day with some more flip-flopping, flippity flop. Kayla and Allie make another push to evict Ryan. The current standing was that Marin would be going home, but they want Ryan home, so they are going to convince Erica to flip back onto Ryan, and it seems to be working. The flip flopping is happening.
Yeah, because Erica's main sticking point with Marin, with wanting to send him home, is this thing that Johnny has told her that Marin is coming after her. And that is Erica's biggest concern with him. So Kayla's strategy is to say that that rumor originated from Ryan. So it's not valid. It was Ryan trying to save his butt. And Erica seems to sort of be buying it.
Yes. Yes. So this is just, it's going to continue to happen throughout the day. The flip-flopping is real, and so it's looking like okay, we're good, we're going to evict Ryan, it's going to be great. And then Olivia goes and talks to Johnny, and Johnny's like, what? No, nah, we're not doing that. And he flips Olivia back over. And then he talks to Paris, and Paris is on board. And then Olivia goes and talks to Erica with Johnny's points and flips Erica back over. And now we're back to evicting Marin.
Yeah. And it's so tough because I feel like a lot of these people are just purely basing this decision on like, well, who's going to come after me or who is going to be a number for me. But it's so hard to tell because I feel like Ryan is not the type of player who's just going to like blindly be loyal to someone just because he saved them, which no one should really play that way. Maddie hasn't played that way with Erica. And or with anyone who helped save her. So I think it's tough because people are basing this decision on not that much good information because ultimately it's kind of a toss up and that's why they keep going back and forth. There's not really one deciding factor for anyone.
Yes, and it really just, they keep, Kayla and Allie push one way, and then Johnny pushes the other way, and then it's just back and forth and back and forth. And the nominees themselves are not helping themselves at all.
No, in some cases, they are doing quite the opposite.
Yes. So then we have a conversation with Marin and Will, speaking of nominees not helping themselves, where Marin is saying to Will, hey, I need you to tell Erica that you don't know if I'm coming after her or not. Like, you don't think so. You don't think so, but I'm not confirming or denying whether or not I'm coming after Erica. And I just need her to know that I'm not definitely coming after her. And
yeah. And then Will immediately is like, yeah, Marin asked me to tell you that he's like not coming after you, but like not definitely, like maybe, like he immediately goes to Erica with this.
yeah, and like Will is somebody that has wanted Marin out because he's afraid of how close Marin is with Dela. So he's not the right person to go with with this to in the first place. But even the message itself was flawed. I don't know what you're doing, Marin.
Yeah, and he also tries to tell Will that he's not working with Dela, which is, I guess, a better point than saying I might not be coming after Erica, but it's also, again, not the right person to be going to with this.
Yeah, Marin just, he's a nice guy. He's a sweet guy.
He's an angel.
Not good at the game. Not good. So we also had the big drama of the day. Ryan is talking to Paris, and he wants Paris to know that he heard something. He overheard Allie was talking to Olivia by the pool table, and he heard Allie say, I don't trust that B. B being a
Beyonce.
summon for something else.
Yes.
And he is telling Paris that he overheard this. This conversation was not on the feeds. We do not know whether or not he actually heard it, whether or not it was actually said. We talked about this on the roundtable last night. It is something that Allie could have said. It is not, beyond the realm of possibility. I could hear her saying this. The spirit of it is true. She doesn't trust Paris. She doesn't have a lot of respect for Paris. However, we do not know whether or not she actually said this, whether or not Ryan actually heard this. But Ryan is telling Paris that he heard this and that he thinks it's either about Paris or Maddie, presumably about Paris. And so that's Paris is not happy about this.
Yeah, and Ryan is basing that off of he saw someone walk out of the house, like he saw someone walk by them into the backyard. And by process of elimination, he didn't see who it was, but he thinks it must be Paris or Maddie because Allie wouldn't have said that about a man, which I think is a little bit of a stretch. I don't know how much Allie incorporates that particular word into her vernacular, but if she uses it similar to me, I think it can be gender blind. So there's that assumption, and then also the idea that her saying that had to be about someone who just walked by when like she could have been in the middle of a conversation with Olivia talking about literally anyone, and like Ryan just happened to hear that snippet of the conversation. So I think like even if Ryan did hear this, he's jumping to so many conclusions and making this into something that is so much more cut and dry than it is, clearly just to stir things up and sort of get the target onto Allie, that I think even if he did hear those words verbatim, like I still understand Allie being upset about this.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Ryan here, I think that he is pretty upfront with everything that he knows. He says, "Look, all I heard was that phrase. Somebody had just walked by, so I assume it was about them, but I don't know who it was about. I'm just giving you my assumption." And he's basically saying, like, based on the tone of it, it did seem like it was something that was directed at somebody. But again, he could be lying. And here's the thing: Allie does not say, "Oh, I maybe said that, but not about somebody in the house." What she says is that she did not say it at all. She never said anything close to it. So I have to imagine that if he is telling the truth, it probably was something that was directed at somebody in the house, because otherwise, why deny it so adamantly that you didn't say it at all?
Well, or it literally was about something that doesn't matter at all. Like she was talking about like a celebrity or something that she doesn't even remember saying it.
It's definitely possible. I mean, really, I think that Allie's tactic here, if that's the case, if she genuinely thinks that she didn't say it, then maybe what she should have said was like, maybe I said it about some random person, but not about somebody in the house.
I mean, she does say that though. She says, "I am sure that I didn't say that, and if there is a tiny chance that I did, then it was about something that doesn't matter at all. It was about something totally not game related because I don't remember saying it."
We will hopefully find out one way or the other if the show decides to air this part and doesn't show some kind of commercial instead. But yes, ultimately, Ryan he's just telling Paris this. He's saying, "Look, I heard this. It could have been about you. If I had to guess, I would say it was about you. So just keep your ears perked." And again, this spirit of what he's saying is true. Allie does not trust Paris. Paris should be wary of Allie. Whether or not that's a guess from Ryan's part and he's lying and making these details up, or he heard this, doesn't really matter. Ultimately, what matters is how this whole thing plays out here. So he also tells Maddie. Maddie doesn't have as big a reaction as Paris, though. Paris runs to Allie and confronts Allie about it. And again, later on, Paris is going to have a conversation with Maddie where she's like, "You can't blame me for what happened because you would have done the same thing." And Maddie agreed. So Maddie would have also run to Allie if she had the opportunity. But Paris got there first, and she asks Allie if she said this about her. And Allie was immediately, no, I didn't say this about you. I didn't say this at all. And Allie is beyond pissed. She's more pissed than Paris was. She wants to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, because she is interpreting Paris even asking her about it as Paris somewhat believing it, which she feels like is Ryan's plan working, him dragging her name through the mud, and it's sort of making her allies turn on her, which is what she believes, or at least is trying to get Paris to believe that she believes Ryan is trying to do.
Yes, and again, like we talked about this last night, but that it should be sending the opposite message. When somebody comes to you with information they just found out, that is a very good sign. Usually if somebody doesn't trust you and doesn't want to work with you, they'll find the information out and be like, okay, putting that in our back pocket, which is what Erica has been doing, what Liv has been doing, what Johnny have been doing. All of them have been taking information about Allie and just kind of like, oh wow, we can't trust Allie. But Paris, she kind of didn't believe this, and she went to Allie and asked her about it, and Allie was like, no, I didn't do that. And Paris was like, okay, I believe you. I think Ryan is a liar. This makes it easy in terms of who we're sending out of the house this week, because I can't believe he would do this to me. I think Paris is fully on board at this point, but Allie doesn't want to let it go.
Yeah, and Allie does end up apologizing to Paris because that's Paris's point to her a little bit later after this whole thing happens. Paris is saying, I came to you because I do trust you. And if you are going to blow up every time I ask a question, like you're going to be someone that is very difficult to work with. And Allie basically just says like, I have had enough of Ryan. This is like the millionth time this has happened to me, like coming from the same person. It wasn't you. That was just sort of the catalyst. And like, it'll never happen again. But sort of the damage is done a little bit. I mean, they hug it out and whatever, but I think that Paris feels really hurt by this reaction.
Yes, because Allie is saying that she wants to confront Ryan, and Paris is basically begging her not to. Like, please don't do this. You are like you're really messing things up for me. Obviously, I came to you with this information in confidence because I trusted you, and now you want to blow it up in front of the entire house and ruin my relationship with Ryan and like force everyone to vote Ryan out because now you're in conflict with him. Like, please don't do this. And Allie, she's not hearing it. She doesn't care really about what Paris is saying. She's like, but I want to do this. I need to do this. And again, we talked about this extensively last night, all of the reasons why Allie should not have done this and shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. But she does eventually call Ryan in and confronts him. And he basically just sticks to his story very calmly, just like, no, I heard what I heard. And, you're not going to convince me that I didn't hear it. And Allie is very angry. She's yelling at him, saying like he's trying to, drag her name in the mud. She didn't say this. Stop lying about it. I swear on my mother's life, I did not say this. And Ryan is just like, look, you can swear on whatever you want. I heard what I heard. There's nothing more to be said here. Maybe you said something else, but I believe I heard what I heard. I believe that it is exactly what you said, and that's just basically it.
Yeah. I understand that Allie is handling this much worse than Ryan is, but I almost can't blame Allie just thinking about being in her shoes, because when you are like mad at someone and like a man is just sitting there and being like really calm and like not reacting at all, like that can be really frustrating. And so like I feel like it escalated because he's not giving her any sort of response, because he's just so calm that it's almost like irritating. I don't know. Like I feel like Ryan played that well. Like that's a compliment to Ryan, but it also is just saying like I honestly don't blame Allie for getting set off here, especially if Ryan is lying.
I mean, I definitely blame Allie for getting into the situation in the first place when she didn't have
shouldn't have called him out in the first place.
And then in the situation when he is calm, like this is the worst possible way that you can react to him being calm, because it makes her look extremely guilty. Because like of course he's not going to give her anything. He is just going to continue to say, this is what I want. And then she's getting more and more frustrated that she can't like get a rise out of him, which, as Erica points out later, this is like exactly how Veronica reacted every time you questioned her about the rogue vote. Like, oh, what? Who could have possibly done such a thing? Meanwhile, everyone else was just like, yeah, whatever. It wasn't me. And it makes you look very, very guilty. And then afterwards she was like all incensed about it, saying, well, Ryan is against me now. You can't vote Ryan to stay because that would be a vote against me. She does eventually calm down and apologize, but with the culmination of everything that's been happening, Ryan again being the cause of, she tells Ryan a lot of secrets. Ryan then exposes those secrets. These things we can confirm are true. Allie did actually say these things to Ryan, like, lots of different things now. We've talked about them on previous updates, where Allie is starting to not be trusted by a lot of her allies. And then she has this blow up on Ryan, especially, I think, with the history that Ryan has given good information about Allie. A lot of people are just like, I feel like Allie's probably lying here. And again, whether or not it's true, Allie being so adamantly against it, when everyone knows, or at least most people know, that Allie doesn't even trust Paris. So like why is she fighting so hard? Why is she calling this meeting? Why is she doing this? A lot of them come to the conclusion this must just be manipulation by Allie, because like why blow up in that way unless you're just trying to force us into voting to get rid of Ryan, because otherwise he's coming after you. There's no other reason to do this, and they're getting very annoyed at this whole situation.
Yeah, it's all very unfortunate. I definitely thought in the immediate aftermath that this was going to be Ryan's detriment, because I think it was Kayla, Erica, Maddie, and someone, maybe Paris, are like gathered in the HOH room, basically like playing detective and trying to poke holes in Ryan's story, saying like, okay, well, if he was standing here, how could he have heard this, but like not heard the rest of the conversation or not seen the person, blah, blah, blah. And it seemed like they um were inclined to find flaws in Ryan's story because it would be much easier to just think that Ryan is lying and evict him, rather than it getting really messy and having to assume that Allie is lying, who is not on the block. So there's nothing they can do about it right away. So it's just going to sort of fester in the house. But yeah, a lot of people do eventually turn. It's a very complicated situation, because I do also think, even though Allie does look guilty here, I do also think that some people have that reaction to being accused of something that they didn't do. Like some people do get really emotional and like over defensive in that way. So I think it's hard because I just don't know Allie well enough as a person to gauge how this would go, and none of these people do.
Yeah, and I agree. I've always, Rob has always said, actually, I'm pretty sure Rob is the one that says like, oh, if it's a lie, then the person that like makes a big deal of it is usually the one telling the truth. But I don't think it's that cut and dry. I feel like it is very dependent on the situation and depending on the personalities. But I think the thing that sinks Allie is, if she did trust Paris, if she did like Paris, if this wasn't something that most people could see her saying, then I think it would ring true that she was like, whoa, I can't believe you would say that I would say this. This is not even in my vocabulary. Like, that's not really true. She's said these kinds of things in the past. She's said that she doesn't trust Paris in the past. So like her being so indignant about like, oh, I could never have said this. Like that is a lie. She could have said that in any kind of situation. Maybe she didn't say it in that situation, but this is absolutely something she could have said. So it kind of rings hollow that she's so emotional about this situation and so angry about this situation when it's not that far from the truth whether she said this particular thing or not. Whereas Ryan is able to come from a situation where it's like, I have no personal stake in this. Like I heard this. I was under the assumption that I'm safe this week. I didn't need to be stirring anything. I just heard what I heard. I was looking out for Paris, and that's the end of it. And so Not the greatest look for Allie. Even Derek and Kayla, who you're right, were very much inclined to wanting to believe Allie over Ryan, because if Ryan is lying, then that helps their narrative in terms of getting Ryan sent home. Even they were like, "Man, Allie, she is not looking good right now. We would definitely keep Liv over Allie," which is bad for them. Allie's way more in their camp than Liv is, but they just feel like Allie is too hot to handle.
Yeah. I feel like I wonder if these next couple weeks is just going to be like whoever has the biggest blow up. People are like, ugh, and they want to get rid of them because that's what happened with Veronica. Um, and so if potentially Ryan and Allie are the next couple to go, it's like just don't cause drama, guys. Like just lay low for now. Too many targets around.
Yeah, especially with Ryan, because people, people look at Ryan like he's Marin. People look at him like he is just a pawn to be used. That is maybe a little bit dangerous. They respect him on some level, but they don't really respect him, because people don't generally respect people that don't have friends. Ryan is alone. He doesn't have bonds with anyone, and so even though they're like, oh, he's so good at this game, he's so convincing, they still have a level of disdain for him socially. And that makes them underestimate him. And they think that, like, if somebody did this to Marin would crumble, and Marin would come out looking awful, because Marin does not have it in him to stand up for himself and for like the truth or whatever. Like, he just doesn't have those chops. But people think they can just pin something on Ryan, and it's not going to work. Veronica tried it. Allie has now tried it. Ryan is going to stand his ground and calmly state his case, and even the people watching the live feeds, they don't know if he's telling the truth or not, and it's not going to work for you to pick a fight with Ryan in that way. Allie had been doing a pretty decent job up until this point of painting a more subtle target on Ryan. And then after this whole thing blows up, it kind of leads to a situation where people are starting to get a little more firm in wanting to keep Ryan in the house, especially if he's going to be going after Allie and not them.
Yeah, he's just so irritating. Like, I think that's the thing, is that like he could win friends, I think, because like he is not doing a terrible job staying in the game. He just like really, I think there's something grating about him. If it's maybe the way that he talks down to people about the game, or maybe it's just like an age and lifestyle difference or something. But I don't know who he's going to win over at this point, who's going to legitimately like him.
Yeah, maybe Johnny. If Johnny's capable of liking anyone, they did bond a little later in the day. But things. Ryan's a guy. He's a weird guy. So after this whole argument, Ryan is talking to Paris, and Paris is like, Allie swore on her family. Like, that's really big. And Ryan is like, look, like, do you want me to swear on Carter, my baby? Like, I mean, it seems weird now because it's kind of like being forced, but like, I'm willing to do it, like whatever. Like, look, I'm telling the truth. I don't know what else to say. And he does eventually. Just Paris is like, yeah, I do want you. And so I swear on Carter. This is what I heard. And then Johnny comes in, and Johnny's like, Ryan, oh, why do you keep making a scene? Don't you understand? Look, I've been doing all this work in the house. I haven't even been telling you about all the work but look, I've been working to keep you safe, and you're doing these things. It's making it more difficult for me. But ultimately, I think this was a net benefit for Ryan and Johnny. But Johnny's just like, would you just calm down?
I love that the dynamic between Ryan and Johnny is very like, Dad, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends. Like, stop.
Yeah. Like, Dad, I'm secretly using you as a weapon in this game, and you're making it difficult to do that, Dad.
That relatable parent-child relationship that we all have.
Yeah. So Allie then talks to Paris, and Paris has now been flipped back after this whole thing. And Paris is like, yeah, Ryan did blow up, or you did blow up on Ryan, but that doesn't mean, maybe he did, maybe he did lie, maybe he didn't, maybe he did lie, or maybe he didn't. It doesn't matter, because we don't need to send him home because of it, right? We don't need to do that. And Allie's like, what? Excuse me? He's coming after me. Paris is like, yeah, but I mean,
But he's also coming after Dayla.
yeah,
So that's good.
I
right?
think we can clear this up. We can make this better. Get him to go after Dayla instead. And Allie's just like, oh no, what have I done? What have I done? This is when she starts apologizing, and goes and is like, wait, so I'm sorry, guys, I shouldn't have done that. So like, that did not work.
No, it didn't. But I also think that Paris does not have the gear to not uselessly campaign for someone. So she's like, even if Ryan is going to stay with the rest of the house, I'm gonna, for some reason, keep going back to Allie and convincing her to vote to keep Ryan, because every single week Paris has to do a bunch of pointless campaigning. Which, like, if Allie is going to eventually vote to save Ryan, it will only be because she doesn't want to be on the wrong side of the vote. It will not be because Paris convinced her that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, Paris just runs around like a crazy person all the time. So there's going to be a little bit of drama between Paris and Maddie and Will. Maddie is talking to Will, saying, this was a mistake. This shouldn't have happened. This isn't a good look for Ryan, and we need Ryan to stay. I guarantee that whole blow up by Allie was manipulation to try to get Ryan sent home. And then just like Will, just like most people in this house, like, just willfully misinterprets what Maddie is telling him. Talks to Paris, and he's like, Maddie, she thinks that you made a mistake. She thinks that you were emotional and made a bad mistake, and that Allie is manipulating you, that this was all planned from the start. Like Allie planned this whole thing from the start, and she's manipulating you, Paris. Like, that's not even close to what Maddie said.
Yeah.
But Paris is like, oh, that Maddie, I can't believe her.
Yeah. And she goes and talks to Maddie about it, which, like, I think what people need to understand in this house and in life is that if you are going to tattle on someone, you need to be accurate, because it's very possible that that person goes and talks to the person that you're tattling on, and then it makes you look shady if they don't tell you the same thing. So Paris goes and talks to Maddie and is like, did you say that I'm too emotional? Like, blah, blah, blah. Maddie's like, I didn't say that was a bad thing. Which is, like, sort of a weak defense, but like, Maddie is right that, like, she wasn't trying to, like, totally throw Paris under the bus. She was just trying to have a conversation with Will, and then Will made it something that it didn't need to be.
Yeah, these guys are just so dysfunctional and ridiculous. I can't believe them sometimes.
You mean these three specifically?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, these three. So Erica and Liv talk, and they are annoyed at Allie about doing this whole thing. They feel like she's strong-arming them into getting rid of Ryan. Liv is like, I feel like it's time to start walking back a little bit, distancing myself from Allie. And Erica's like, yes, that's exactly what I want to hear. We've already been thinking about that, and I think that's a good idea, Liv, because Johnny and I want to take you down to the end, and we don't want Allie there. And Erica, this is when Erica says that Allie's reaction was similar to Veronica's. This was overall very bad conversation for Allie.
Yeah. Although I still feel like in this conversation, Olivia and Erica are talking about wanting Marin gone once again. Like, they circle back to that. So
they eventually do, yes.
Yeah. So that's something that, like, Erica and Olivia just start every conversation. It's going to be a different person.
Well, yeah. Erica right now is still on board with taking Marin out. And Olivia will continue to waffle back and forth. But yes, there's lots of flip flopping. Johnny, as I mentioned, spends time with Ryan, talking to Ryan, just just general bonding, asking Ryan where his head is at, saying, well, like, is he willing to go after Dela this week or next week? He also bonds a bit with Maddie over the course of the day. Johnny is doing a lot of good like interpersonal work here throughout the day, trying to inch in on Derek's social game. Not a lot of people are doing this in this house. It's a lot of strategic game talk, not a lot of personal close relationships happening. But Johnny's doing some good work there, which I think is a necessary thing.
Yeah, especially because I feel like there is that potential for people to eventually kind of compare notes about Johnny and realize that he has kind of been coasting through this whole house by being on the strategic side of everyone and like basically calling a lot of shots that are annoying to people, like him basically forcing Olivia to not put up Maddie. I feel like if it was someone else would have been really annoying and would have maybe made him a target, but because he's putting in this work socially and people just trust him and like to be around him, people don't really think of that as super domineering. They just think of it as like, you know what, I trust Johnny to make a strategic decision that's right for us. So I'll go with it.
Yes, and the only people even really like looking at Johnny are Derek and Kayla. They are a little bit on an island with that. They were talking yesterday about like maybe we'd put up someone like Will and Johnny, or maybe like Erica and Johnny. They kind of want Johnny up on the block, maybe a little bit. And then they also kind of want Maddie to go home. They want a lot of people to go home, but like they have a lot of different plans. But there was like one time where they mentioned like, oh, well, maybe we would want to send Johnny home in that situation. But this is not concrete by any means, and this is like by far the most that he's even been talked about as a target in the house. And it's very minimal compared to basically anyone else in the house. I still think that Johnny is the safest person in the house after Olivia, who is the safest person in the house heading into next week. But there is some clamor, there is some talk, and it's by Derek and Kayla, which are the people he wants out of the house, and the people who I think a lot of people would be taking a shot at them if they win HOH next week. So they're in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I feel like a lot of people are campaigning for Ryan on the basis of like he would take that shot at Dela, like as if a lot of other people wouldn't, which I feel like you just said, like a lot of people would. So even though it's like, yeah, Ryan is more of a number for the anti-Dela contingent than Marin, who is seemingly working with them, I don't feel like that should be the biggest deal breaker for people.
Well, a lot of people don't want to have to do it themselves. And so having somebody like Ryan in the house that can do it for them is a huge benefit. And then especially, if they're going to take a shot, having somebody like Marin in the house, if he wins, like, what does he do? And then also the thing about Marin that a lot of people are worried about is that he is just going to get dragged to the finals, which, yeah, that would probably happen.
Yeah, but I think that is a better argument. The fact that Marin is always going to escape the block, like that is a dangerous person to have around.
I think that's the main argument against Marin.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I feel like people are giving too much power to the fact that Ryan is anti-Dela, because I actually don't think that taking that shot would be as like controversial or dangerous as some people think it would be. Because it seems like everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, but nobody wants to be the one to Olivia has talked about it, but she doesn't want to do it herself. Erica certainly doesn't want to do it herself. Johnny doesn't want to have to do it himself. Paris wants to keep throwing competitions. Will wants to take a shot, but he's also considering throwing the competition. Maddie would do it, but Maddie's like one person, and that's one of the reasons why Johnny wants to keep Maddie around. And then Ryan is willing to do it, and so. Who else is there? It's just Maddie and Ryan who are like actively gunning for the HOH and want to take the shot. And that's why for Johnny, at least, I think he's so valuable. It's very much a thing of like, yeah, we all want this shot to be taken, but none of us want to do it because we're all smart and know that it's a bad move to do it yourself. But Ryan, this guy, he's dumb enough to do it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand it. I feel like they should be focusing more on the Marin basically being immune every time he's on the block, if he escapes this one, because this is the closest that he's been to getting evicted.
Yes, yes, very much so. So eventually we have some more flip flopping toward the end of the day. Liv, Will, Allie, and Kayla talk. It seems like for whatever reason, Will is a little bit more on board with potentially taking Ryan out of the house. I think this is probably just him kind of going along with Kayla and Allie in this conversation, in this particular conversation, where he's like, yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way. I'd be willing to maybe vote that way. Olivia continues to flip flop between the two sides. She is now like, oh yeah, I'd vote Ryan out. And but then like Johnny walks in and Will's like, yeah, I'm not sure where I'm gonna go. So if I had to guess, I'd say Will be doing what Johnny wants him to do. I don't think this is a true flip over. If Allie and Kayla want Ryan to go home, I think that they need to get Erica on board. I don't think, or honestly, Paris. I think that Paris is currently very set on keeping Ryan, but Paris is somebody that absolutely would just kind of go, whoa, and then run over and do a 5-3 vote. So I think they need to get either Paris or Erica on board if they want to make this happen. But technically, as it stands, Will has kind of agreed to do this, so they have 5 votes at the moment. I don't think that's going to hold, though.
Yeah. I mean, Paris is, for how defensive she gets about being emotional, I think that she is in some ways, in that, like, I think one of the last things we hear from her yesterday about where she stands on this vote is that she wants to keep Ryan because she feels like it's sort of her fault that everything blew up, which is like a kind of silly and emotional reason to keep someone. So I think that that's not like a staunch thing. And also when Allie is telling her early in the day that like she feels like she dug her own grave, like Paris feels really bad and then is like, okay, like we can evict Ryan. Like she just kind of goes back and forth based on like what she's feeling a lot of the time, which is not saying that she's not smart or not logical. It's just for something like this where it's so hard to decide, like any little factor can sway her. So I think that Erica, and because Erica is still convinced that Marin is coming after her, and that's so important to her, I think either of them can definitely be convinced.
Yes, and Johnny has another conversation with Paris late in the day, where Paris is saying that she has trouble working with Will and Maddie. She's more and more coming to trust Johnny and wanting to work with Johnny, which is I'm assuming music to Johnny's ears. He continues to have like an individual hold on each one of this trio. They're so dysfunctional that it's so easy for Johnny to just swoop in and be like, all right, let me just pluck you and you and you and keep you in your little containers, and you're bickering back and forth between each other, but you all love me. And it works out great for Johnny.
Yeah. He's such a cute mastermind.
Yes. All right. So then at the end of the night, the have-nots are going to pull another prank here. They're TPing the house, putting sugar and switching salt and whatever it is. Lots of pranky stuff.
They do a panty raid like they're
Yes.
12.
They hang up the underwear. Yep. So that's a thing.
Great. My favorite part of Big Brother, the pranks.
Yeah. I don't really get it.
No, me neither. I have gotten on record that I hate pranks. I got pranked on April Fool's Day and it was so rude, and I hate that whole day. I don't like pranks. I don't think they're funny.
Because I feel like James did a lot of pranks, but he scared a lot of people. I feel like at least with scaring people, there's like an immediate reaction, right? Like it's like, wah, oh. But like with a prank, it's like people walk out and they're like, oh, look, there's toilet paper everywhere.
Now I have to clean this up. Yeah. I think they also hard boiled some of the eggs and put them back in the egg container. I guess that could be kind of funny if someone tries to like bake something or like make scrambled eggs. They try to crack the egg and they can't, but you have to be like literally right there watching it. And like, it's only really funny to you. I don't know.
there are good pranks, right?
What's
But
a good prank?
I think it's hard. I've seen some gifs of good pranks before. I've seen pranks. They're usually from like Japan, and
Sure.
and they're like there are funny things that I don't even remember exactly what they are, but like it takes something clever,
Mhm.
and just like like TPing is not a funny prank. It's meant to be like mean, right? Like
It's just annoying.
yeah, well, it's like just anything that's like even like the tinfoil thing, like it's just like, oh, you walk in and oh, look, everything's different.
And now we have to spend a
All
lot of
right,
time on.
let's
Yeah.
clean it up. It's like but it's also like you have to react like you're getting a gift that you don't like, right? Like, oh, what? Oh, look, you did some things. What? Because otherwise you're a bad sport.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess so. And you're like a buzzkill, but really you're just right. You're just correct.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's all we've got for you, Lita. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, just all of my notes are just Olivia goes back and forth again. And there's so many of those conversations. Like, I really could not explain how many conversations there were yesterday where it's just people like, yeah, maybe we should do this. Maybe we shouldn't. So who knows? I don't know which way it's going, which is exciting.
Yes, it's looking like it could very well be a split vote. Kayla and Allie were saying that they're voting Ryan out regardless of what happens. And I do ultimately think that Johnny is going to win this one and he's going to get Marin sent home. I think that, Johnny, Paris, Maddie, and then I do think Johnny will be able to grab Will. I think he will hold on to Erica. I honestly think Olivia might even flip back over as well. I think Ryan will be staying in the house and Marin will be leaving, but we'll see a lot of flips back and forth between now and tomorrow night. And it honestly, it could go either way. It could be, if Johnny isn't like super watchful, if he isn't like on top of this thing, then it could flip at the last second, and like whoever talked last to Erica and Olivia managed to get 4 votes and then the tie break, and bam, Ryan's gone. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, what a thrilling payoff to this Gatecrashers twist that would be if Marin went out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, great. I'm glad we went through all of this together. We had this emotional journey to get these two fantastic players in the house.
Yes. Well, we don't need any twists. That's the message.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been doing well so far.
Yes. All right. So that's all we've got for you today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we will be recapping tonight's episode of Big Brother Canada 6. We'll update you on everything that's happening on the live feeds as well. And then tomorrow night, after the eviction episode, we will be live to recap that stuff as well. And then, just continue to tune in every morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll update you on the live feeds. Make sure you check out the Taran show this week. I spoke with Scott St. Pierre, the man behind the scenes at RHAP. And check out our continuing Ninja versus Ninja coverage. It's a slow process, but it's going out. It's been a fun show.
Yeah, it's happening. We had to do maybe a double episode or two, but it's happening.
Yes. Yes. All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Armstrong Taran. Lita is at Lita Tweeted. You can find this podcast on the reality TV RHAP-ups feed or the dedicated Big Brother feed. You can find us on robhaswebsite.com. And make sure you tweet at us. Let us know what you thought. Say nice things.
Be cool.
Yes. I'll see you next time.